50363. It is Kristen and
Hello.
Aurora who's with me, and we're going to talk a little bit about our cybersecurity badge, and we are actually going to work on our first badge here, which is cybersecurity basics. And I'm going to walk you through some of these basics. So the stuff that we're going to go through today is computers are machines, and they are made up of different parts that work together to allow you to look at pictures, play games, watch movies, send messages. Computers connect to other computers all over the world, and computers are fun to explore with, but you need to know the basics of security to be safe. So some of the stuff that this badge requires is to find out how a computer works, and this is just the basics. Find out how to protect something valuable, and discover how you are connected just like a computer. So the purpose of this badge is just an introduction to computers, and if you remember back when we worked on robots, computers can be many, many things, and so they can be as simple as an iPhone. There are computers, the calculators are also a type of computer, so TVs are a type of computer at this point now, so there are many things that are also computers in our world. So let's talk a little bit about basic parts. So in the Girl Scout book, they give us the basic parts of a standard desktop computer, and a standard desktop computer will have things like a monitor, and a lot of them have a webcam, and we have a built-in webcam if you're watching from a phone or an iPad. There can be speakers, which can also be built in. There is the keyboard. There can be, and the keyboard can also be a digital keyboard on your monitor. There is a mouse, which can also now just be your finger that you utilize on your monitor. And then finally, you can use an exterior machine that connects, that allows you to do outside functions. This is something like a printer, but there's a lot of other products now that we can attach to make outside functions happen. One of the key things, though, is the CPU, which is the central processing unit and is the brain of your computer. The central processing unit basically can take a look at numbers and or logic or controls and do inputs and outputs with those. So this is allowing us to create some type of code that would give the computer feedback. So if A happens, B will take place. For example, I click this button has a logical code that when this button is clicked, it tells the computer to turn on the camera. So inputs and outputs on its logical. A lot of these materials are what we would call in the different computer industries peripherals. So things like your keyboard or your mouse are exterior uses. Some other stuff that your computer can have is connector systems, which can be things like USB ports on your computer that allows it to connect. Sometimes your USB port is also a port for your power supply. And then another feature to the inner workings of computer systems nowadays, and so your phones, your iPads, your iPods, your laptops, all will also have graphics cards, sound cards, and networking cards that allow them to work and utilize with different systems. Another piece of connection is your modem and your router, which allows you to connect to the outside world via your internet, your Wi-Fi, or your cellular data. Which brings us to step 2, how to protect yourself or something that is vulnerable. When you protect something, you keep it safe. Locking your front door is protecting your home. Putting sunscreen on your skin is protecting your body. It's the same with a computer. So you should try to do things that allow you to protect yourself when utilizing your computer system. And this is to keep your personal information safe. And so some key words to know is the word protect, which just means to keep something from getting hurt or lost or stolen. The next one is safety, meaning to be free from danger or harm. Next word is identity, and identity is who a person is. And the last one is communication. Now, identity, we're going to go through at a later date and talk about what is things about you, personal things that you can share, and personal things about you that you can't share. And that'll be in a different one of the cybersecurity badges. So let's talk a little bit about safety and protection. Some of the things to keep in mind when utilizing your computer is that you can set your computer settings for safety and protection. And so here is my Google account, and that is my name on my account, and this is my privacy and personal settings, and I can open those and I can check my securities and make sure that my settings and the things that are allowed to use my computer are things that I would want it to. For example, the Screencastify, which allows me to record videos, and my Wix allows me to change websites. The systems that are allowed to use my Google identity are my different devices, which one is the device I'm using right now, and the other one are these other devices that I'm attached to, all of which I know. So this is something that I can do. I can check my settings in my privacy and make sure that my account is safe and secure and being used only by devices that I know. And you should not allow things that you don't know to use anything that is your personal accounts. So things like sharing passwords should only happen with your parents or your teacher, and should never happen with people you don't know or outside sources or even friends. The final piece is discovering how you're connected just like a computer. So just like a computer, you are connected to many, many things in the outside world, and I'm going to use our troop as an example. So we are troop 50363. This is us, right? So that's us as a troop. And each one of us is connected to this troop through Girl Scouts, right? So each one of us is connected to the troop through Girl Scouts, which makes it kind of fun. And that's one of the ways that we can keep in mind that we're all connected, but just like that, computers are connected too, which means that when we don't want to do Girl Scouts, we want to make sure that we stop the connection or we log out of our accounts, making sure that they're closed and they're not being utilized. And we're going to go into this sort of thing more in another batch set. So some of the final takeaway is to be able to tell a friend or a family member that you learned some basic parts of the computer and what is the central processing unit or the CPU or brain of the computer. You should know that term, be able to tell somebody about it. Another thing is to show family and friends how we're connected in person or through a computer. And finally, sharing and learning safety protections with friends or class or at school. So knowing how to keep yourself safe and protected. So this is the simple basics. One of the things I'm going to probably put in the description is a link to some other sites that does like how does a computer work that are safe sites. One of the things to keep in mind while we're all checking out sites and searching things, if you look at the URL, if it says HTTP and has an S at the end, the S stands for secure. So if you find that S at the end of a URL code when you're looking at things on the web, you know that it is a secure site and not one that could carry computer viruses. Just something to keep in mind to start keeping food for thought. So once you're done kind of putting together some connections and doing different things, please let me know that you've watched the video and had fun working on some of these pieces. One of the things you can do is do a random act of kindness while you're working on this badge and reach out to a family member via an email or a message. So show me you know how to create a connection. And then you can create another connection by logging on to our Facebook group and letting us know that you made that connection and that you worked on your first badge that goes to cybersecurity. And I'll meet you back with another video to work on the next 2 badges of cybersecurity. Enjoy creating connections and explaining how computers work. Have fun. Bye.